You're going to make a mistake. You're still going to make mistakes. And forgiveness is the key. Forgiving yourself is the capstone to being able to move forward. It's a very controversial position to have because people don't like the truth. Most people don't want to hear it because then it takes away their excuse. It takes away your excuse to continue in your victimization. Everything is made up of vibration, right? The universe bows to your will, period. Nothing external can dictate the way that we feel. Feeling and emotion come from within. When you have a thought, it goes out. We have the ability to take a thought, put energy to it, and when that goes out to the universe, it has to go somewhere. The universe is going to take it. So if you say something negative, the universe has to deal with it. What does kindness look like? If somebody's done you wrong, think back all the times that somebody's ever done you wrong in your life. And how do you feel about that right now? In this moment, identify it. How does that, you probably don't care, right? If somebody stole from you when you were 14, you probably don't have that much resentment. You probably don't really care about it. And so everybody makes mistakes. Nobody comes to this world with a guidebook that says, here's how you do life. We inherit this from our parents or our guardians, whoever is there. If you don't have parents, some people have grandparents, aunts, uncles, but our immediate surroundings are what form our predisposition to the world. And when we learn to forgive and let go and realize that nobody has the guide map, you can let it go and forgive yourself because you're a human being. You're going to make a mistake. You're still going to make mistakes. And forgiveness is the key. Forgiving yourself is the capstone to being able to move forward, right? Because you can't change it. You can't fix it. There's nothing you can do about it. So why let it hold you down, right? And just beat that narrative in that you can't change. I like to take a glass of water and throw it. And everybody's, oh my God. Well, what are we going to do about it? We have a couple of options, right? There's things we can control, things we can't control. One thing we can't control here is that the floor is wet and it's all over the place. We can't control that. That's in existence. What can we do? We can get a towel. We can clean it up. We can analyze why I did it, but that's not going to change the fact that the water's on the ground, right? It doesn't matter why it happened. The fact is it happened, and what can we do about it now? We can clean it up and move forward. And nobody's really going to lose any sleep. It's a glass of water on the floor. We can just clean it up. And while people will say a glass of water is not the same as being victimized by a predator as a child, our mind doesn't know the difference between varying levels of trauma. Trauma is trauma, right? Like we take trauma and inherit. And it's a very controversial position to have because people don't like the truth. Most people don't want to hear it because then it takes away their excuse. It takes away your excuse to continue in your victimization, right? And that's the hardest part for people is when people are victimized, they want that validation. They want that let me fix that. Sorry. They want that validation. They want people to recognize that they've been hurt and that they've been abused. But that recognition is not going to change the fact that you were hurt and abused, right? Nothing is going to take that away. And when you can learn to say, whatever I go through, any amount of therapy, counseling, even if I beat somebody up that did me wrong, nothing's going to change the fact that I was already wrong. And when that starts to sink in and they start to realize, I can't change any of it, and I'm wasting so much time looking this way, I'm missing everything that's right here. And so then it just becomes a battle of what do you care about more? What's to come or what's already gone? If that's the case, give me all your money. I'll take all your money, man, because you're more focused back here than you are up there. I'm focused up there.
Wow. I love that. The penis is one of my favorite mythological creatures, first of all.
I love
for the exact reasons you laid out. They're literally these, when they die, they're grotesque almost looking, and they go up in ashes, they burn. But then there's a little baby penis that comes right out of it that grows right back up and is able to continue upon a new life.
And
But
there's
Sonny,
so many instances of that in our lives. Even if we look at like Jesus, right? Jesus had to, and I love Jesus. I'm not a Christian at all, but I think Jesus was one of the archetypes for how you should live, right? That was a man that believed in his faith so much that he was willing to die for it, right? And before he died, he was grotesque. He was beaten. He was dirty. He was bloody. He was filthy. And then he was died and reborn into a brand new image, a whole new beautiful creature, right? And so we see this narrative time and time again throughout all courses of history. Even every other religion has the Epic of Gilgamesh, and all these other religious stories have this death and rebirth, right? And it's a mindset.
wow, let's dive into that a little bit. Because when we talk about death and rebirth, and I 100% agree with you, there are so many different stories just around the world at different cultures about how one thing has to die before creation can happen directly after. But the story that I usually tell people, or what I usually tell people, not really a story, is that the most beautiful flowers come after the craziest storm.
No
You
doubt.
know,
No
so
doubt.
like, how do you make it through that storm? And knowing that there are flowers on the other side, but sometimes it's difficult to see that.
I often refer to Stoicism and the sayings of Marcus Aurelius. Everything that goes into the fire becomes fuel for the fire, right? The path is the way. So when we have setbacks or we have struggles in our life, they're not obstacles, they're opportunities, right? When something comes along that we don't know how to deal with, or a traumatic incident or a painful scenario that comes along, there's always a lesson to be learned from it. We can't control what happens in the world, but we can control the way we respond to it. And so if you develop this mindset of sometimes things happen, sometimes bad things happen, right? There is this chaotic order to the world that someone can live a Mother Teresa-esque lifestyle and get robbed and killed. There is Mahatma Gandhi can live this virtuous life of nonviolence, could have died in an accident, right? Like sometimes bad things happen. You can break your leg and you're the most kindest person in the world. I know people that live seriously healthy, beautiful lifestyles and catch cancer and have died. And there is no rhyme or reason to it, but there's a lesson. There's always a lesson involved in loss. There's always a lesson to it. And there's what can I control and how do I respond to it? I can take an adverse situation when it hits me in the face and I can lay down, I can cry, I can complain about how unfair it is. And all that's doing is taking away from me healing, recovering, and overcoming and moving forward. I can also just take it, look at it like that was an unfortunate circumstance. There was pain involved. I get it. But what can I do differently to ensure that doesn't happen to me? And how can I educate others to make sure that they don't fall into that scenario? And when you look at things like that, it motivates you to learn the lesson, to dig in deeper and find out what you could have done differently. Not that living in the past matters, but it's the lesson from it, right? I'm not going to dwell on what I could have done differently, but once I isolate and find out what I could have done differently, I'm now more equipped to go forward in the future. And the next time that scenario pops up, I'm ready. I see it. I've been here before, and I know how to navigate. I still might break my leg, but if I do that, I'm going to learn another lesson, right? So the third time that scenario comes around, I promise you I'm not going to break my leg, right?
So when we talk about learning the lesson, a lot of times people expect for there to be some type of instant gratification or instant understanding. What would you say to somebody who says that I've been working on understanding this message and I'm just not getting it?
There's something inherently that you're blocking, you're subconsciously blocking yourself, right? Everything is made up of vibration, right? The universe bows to your will, period. And there's nothing external that happens to our mindset. Nothing external can dictate the way that we feel. Feeling and emotion come from within. This is an internal genesis. It's in here. where it starts from. Externally, nothing can influence that unless we allow it to, unless I take the circumstance and say, I'm going to allow that to dictate the way I feel. Because you can just as well turn around and say, I'm not going to give it any space. And so what happens is we get impatient, and we have to look at the way that we speak, the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we talk to other people, the vibes and the energy we put out to the world. I can say, I want $1 million, right? Saying I want $1 million means I don't have $1 million, means I'm acknowledging that I don't have $1 million, and I'm putting it out to the universe that I don't have it, right? And so you can't just say, I want something. It involves visualization. It involves action, right? You can't just, I want to be a millionaire and not actually do things that make you a millionaire, right? You can't just snap your finger and go get it. It just doesn't work that way. That's just not the law of the universe. And so if you're manifesting or you're desiring something and you're doing the work and you're trying and it's not coming, you have to take another assessment of your internal dialogue and what is it that you're doing to block it from happening. I have a wonderful case in point is I just got back in touch with my youngest son. He's actually in the beginning of my books. I thought I wasn't going to see him again until he was 18. His mother he has a very narcissistic mother. And I didn't think that I was ever going to see him again because that's what she said. And my wife and I constantly are like, there's no point even trying because she's going to be such an evil, wicked person, and there's just no point. If I can't go to court, then there's just no point. I might as well not try. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks after watching Sadhguru. I'm putting that out to the universe. I'm telling the universe that it's not going to happen because of an external circumstance. I'm putting it out there already. It's not going to happen. And when we stop doing that, literally, a week later, I sent an email. And now I've talked to my son now for the last almost a month. I'm talking to him on Zoom calls. I'm like, we literally manifested it. You block things by putting it out to the universe. When you have a thought, it goes out. When you speak something, we have this vocal box, which is this incredible thing that nothing else on the planet has. And we have the ability to take a thought, put energy to it, and it comes out in a word. It comes out vocally out of our mouth. And when that goes out to the universe, it has to go somewhere. The universe is going to take it. So if you say something negative, the universe has to deal with it. It has to go somewhere. It has to go somewhere. And so when you say something positive, it's the same concept, right? Thoughts become things. And so when you have a negative thought and you put it out, you have to counterbalance that with positive thought. You have to come back out and say, you know what? I am mentally blocking myself from achieving this that I'm desiring. I have to eliminate the self-sabotaging negative dialogue and put in that affirmation and visualization, right? Feel it, see it, imagine yourself in it, right? I don't want it. I've already got it. It's just, I haven't found it yet. Don't worry about the how. The universe will take care of the how. You put the intention out and put the energy and drive behind it, and it will happen. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen, not when you want it to happen. When it's supposed to happen, it'll happen.
Wow, I love that. I love that you touched onto the laws of the universe, and I'm also a big fan of Sadhguru.
I love her.
Such a great guy. Love watching his videos.
Yeah.
So you have people, when we talk about thoughts, and you talk about manifesting things from your thoughts and being aware of your thoughts, tend to be subconscious, especially before you become aware of them. So how do you shift your subconscious from negative thoughts or thoughts of lack into positive thoughts?
Yeah, so accept them, first and foremost. Accept the fact that this thing almost runs independently of itself, right? This thing, our mind, our brain is such a powerful instrument. We can't even fathom how powerful this and the human body are. You look at some of the work that Joe Dispenza is doing, and it's mind-blowing, right? Like, he's doing things that scientists call bullshit. There's no way you're doing that. And yet you go watch it, and it's happening. It's there. It's done. And he's proving to the world that there's this chemical reaction between our spinal cord, this super highway, and our thoughts and our intention and visualization and meditation when we put them out. So when you have a negative thought that comes in, accept it. right? I understand that I'm a human being. I understand that I'm going to have doubts and negative thoughts, but I don't give you space. I hear you, I accept you, and I kiss you off on your way. I send you off with love and light. And then I will counter that with just back to back positive affirmation, right? If I have one thought, man, I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. I will accept that thought. Okay, I get it. I am good enough. I am worthy. I am smart. I am brave. I am bold. I am attractive. I am charismatic. I am worthy. I am worthy. And you keep saying it. If I have to go stare at myself into a mirror and say it until I'm blue in the face, I will counter that thought, right? It's about having the discipline and the courage to not give up on overpowering those negative thoughts. Accept them that they come in. Denzel Washington said it best: without discipline, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. And so when those negative thoughts come in, have the discipline to understand that they're there and have the consistency to overpower them with positive thought and affirmation.
Wow, 100%. And for the audience, the book that I'm going to guess you're talking about with Joe Dispenza is Becoming Supernatural. And
So I don't know about the book, but the documentary, The
oh,
Source.
I didn't know there's a documentary.
Oh, I think it's brand new. Literally, my wife and I watched it, I don't know, a week and a half ago. It's life-changing. What Joe Dispenza is doing, there are people that are being cured of stage 4 cancer in 7 days, to the point where these other scientists got involved and they said, okay, in normal language, you call it skepticism. In the scientific realm, we call it bullshit. And so they went down there to one of his 7-day events in, I want to say Cancun, and they did blood draws on a group of individuals, book 4. And I mean, there was a girl in there with cystic fibrosis. There was a guy in there with throat cancer. And they did blood draws on them. And 7 days later, they did another blood draw. And then they did all the scientific research on these blood samples. And it showed lipid levels are being increased. Lipids, it was thought that human beings weren't capable of producing these lipids. Lipids are something that hibernating animals have that put them in a near-death state where their heartbeat slows down next to nothing. And this allows their body to rejuvenate and cleanse itself. Human beings whose thought didn't have that. So when they're analyzing these blood samples pre-7-day and post-7-day, they're finding the lipid levels in these bloods are off the charts. And they didn't know you could do it. So to the point where the scientists and the neurologists or whatever, they took, this is UC San Diego, by the way, $10 million was invested in it. They took this group of visualization and meditators and took them into the lab and set them in front of this refrigerator that had 2 different platelets of blood, of cancer blood. The blood had the cancer in it, and they put it in the fridge, and they sat there and they visualized and meditated in front of this thing, and it cured it. Because they were like, maybe it's just because of the human body. No, the body and just the blood itself, what they did affected that blood. The girl with cystic fibrosis did not need it afterwards. She didn't need the oxygen tank. She didn't need the cane. There's a girl that had stage 4 breast cancer in all of her bones. There's a girl that grew her thyroid back to the point where the doctor was like, I took the thyroid out. I did my job. I took that and it's there. And it's producing the pheromones and stuff that it's supposed to produce. Like, it's mind-blowing stuff. It's just wicked, man. It's just wicked. But it's proof that we can materialize and manifest anything in this lifetime through visualization, positive belief. You can do anything, man.
So why do you think there's such a disconnect with scientists about these clear, let's call them miracles, but the clear effect of the mind on the body?
I think that the work that Joe Dispenza is doing and the studies that they just did are really you're going to see a dynamic shift in this, because this is science. Now they're being able to quantify what's happening, right? Because you can't deny it, right? Because here's the blood. You can't deny the pre-sample and the post-sample. That's fact. That's what scientists deal in, is facts. It's not opinions. It's not a hypothesis. It's not a theory. It's a fact. That blood had cancer. That blood no longer has cancer. That human being had cancer. That human being no longer has cancer. It's just a fact. And so there's this It's a conspiracy theorist. It can borderline on that. But we have so many AIDS clinics and so many cancer clinics around the world that generate billions of dollars a year. Why would they give you the cure? And if we look at why would they give you the cure? If they cured cancer, what do you need the cancer clinics for? And there are hundreds of thousands of them around the world, cancer clinics. There's AIDS clinics all over the world. Why would they give you the cure? Right? And yet we now are seeing that it can be cured. Like these people, it's not a joke. These people are healed through nothing except meditation and visualization. Nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, and I don't really dive into conspiracy theories, but what I will say is that cancer is a not even multi-billion, it's more than that, but it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I worked in the medical field for about 15 years now. There's more money to be made in keeping people sick than there is in truly healing someone. So if you heal the root cause to the point where people don't get sick anymore, now you can't fill up the hospital.
They run out of reasons to have that money, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to fund cancer research.
Exactly. And I don't know if you ever followed the work of Dr. Sebi, who was healing people with holistics and natural, I mean, just herbs. Same thing, healing people with cancer, healing people with AIDS. And he was talking about how the body is just filled with mucus, and it's really just about getting out the mucus and the toxins. And then once you completely purge the body of that, you don't have anything else but the dis-ease to attach to it.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't profess to be a neurologist or well-versed in the ways of neurology, but it's on display right there. And I'm telling you, I highly recommend any and everybody, skeptics and believers alike, watch The Source. Joe Dispenza, The Source. You got to go to his website and buy it from the nonprofit. And the best part, I think, that I really like about Joe Dispenza, because it's been hard to ingest Joe Dispenza because he's so educationally spoken, right? He speaks very highbrow and quick and intelligently, and it can be hard and difficult to follow him. What he does there is phenomenal. And the best thing that I really have come to like about him is he charges $2,500 for his 7-day retreats. That's achievable by most anybody, right? Even if you're a marginalized person or you're broke or you come from a poor area, you can raise that money relatively easily. $2,500 is not difficult, and it can change your life. It's saving lives. It's mind blowing to me, man. It's really mind blowing to me.
Yeah, there are a lot of these retreats that you go to, and they're like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I think it's ridiculous. But hey, Sonny, we only got a couple more minutes left. Is there anything you want to leave with the audience before we go?
I want every single person that watches this to know that you are worthy of the life of your dreams. No matter what you've been through, no matter what kind of trauma, pain, you didn't and do not deserve to live a life of less than. You deserve to live a life of abundance, health, and wealth. And you can achieve it. It's very doable, right? And you are worthy of it. Please go live that life. Love, kindness, authenticity. That's all you need.
And before we go, where can they find your nonprofit?
You can find it anyway. If you just Google Sonny Von Cleveland, you'll find everything. You can find all my social media. I'm under the same name everywhere, Sonny Von Cleveland. And the nonprofit is called the Von Cleveland Foundation. You can just pop that into your old Google search, and it'll pop right up.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonny, so much for coming on to this.
Thank you so much, Dexter, for having me. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode of Onion Soup. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day. Have a great one. Bye. On the surface, my life was on track. I was a medical laboratory scientist with a degree in biochemistry, and I was preparing for a PhD. My mind was trained to see the world in data and repeatable results, but inside, I was lost. I was lost amidst the sea of depression and this overwhelming feeling that there had to be something more. Have you ever had an experience you couldn't quite explain? A moment where you felt so deeply connected to everything around you? For years, both as a scientist and as a seeker, I asked pretty much anybody who would listen these questions. You see, my journey to find this more didn't begin in the lab, but in a space of quiet meditation. As I started to heal, I was faced with a profound choice, a voice that asked, do you want to help the world by studying the brain, or by showing people how you healed your mind? I chose the latter, and I decided to call my dad, whom I often refer to as my first spiritual teacher. Years ago, he hosted these gatherings in our home for people to explore science and spirituality, and he called them Onion Soup. When I decided to create a space for these conversations, I asked my dad if I could carry on the name. He gave me his blessing, and the podcast was born. Onion Soup. The name itself is our philosophy. Life, consciousness, and the universe are all like an onion. As we peel back one layer, we find another. And just like a hearty bowl of soup, these deep conversations are meant to be comforting, nourishing, and soothing to the soul. Onion Soup is more than just a podcast. It's a space for those who are curious and those who are seekers. A place to be inspired to expand your own awareness and to soothe the soul by resonating with what your spirit already knows is true. Today, that space is growing. It's so much bigger than what I could have ever imagined. But to write this next chapter, I need your help. I'm inviting you to become a true partner in our mission. With your support through this Patreon, we can achieve 3 critical goals together. First, sustainability. To provide the resources to make Onion Soup a fully sustainable long-term project. Second, elevation. To reinvest, improving our sound and video quality. And to travel the world conducting powerful on-site interviews with our guests face-to-face. And third, expansion. To build the professional assets needed to bring our conversations to a major network, sharing this work with millions. If this message resonates with you, please look at our tiers below. For as little as $5 a month, you can get ad-free episodes and join our private community. You can become a supporter, an insider, a co-creator, or even a partner in this vision. Whatever you choose, thank you for being here and for being a part of the Onion Soup journey. Now, let's peel back these layers together.